3, all of these questions are going to be about Santa. So, what are other names for Santa? A, Father Christmas, B, Saint Nick, C, Kris Kringle, or D, Krampus. This is another one where there is more than one. So pick as many as you think are other names for Santa. All right, I'm seeing lots of A's, AB, ABC. All right, so here are Santa's other names: Father Christmas, Saint Nick, and Kris Kringle. All right, and I forgot to mention, we're going to be doing the gingerbread houses next. So, can you make sure you're muted? And make sure you grab your gingerbread house kit if you don't already have it. And you'll also need we have some background noise. What? Cookies and milk. B, cookies and milk. So, and love. Okay. So next, what animal pulls the sleigh? Is it
you? Too much background noise.
So everyone please hit the microphone button, or one of my co-hosts mute everyone. Okay, here we go. Thank you. All right, so question 13. What animal pulls Santa's sleigh? Right, polar bears, horses, moose, or reindeer? And the answer is D, reindeer. Okay, and then who makes the toys that Santa delivers? A, dragons, B, trolls, C, elves, or D, unicorns?
Elf.
And let's see, you see lots of C's. Yes, and that answer is C, elves. Nice job, y'all. All right, and do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Was it Dasher, Prancer, Blitzen, or Rudolph?
Duh.
I am seeing tons of D's. Yep, you know your song. It is Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. And lastly, what government agency tracks Santa's flight every year? Is it the CIA, NASA, NORAD, or the San Jose Public Library? I like that a lot of you think that there's a lot of D's going on. It's us that tracks him, but no, sorry, we don't track him. It is actually NORAD. So NORAD tracks Santa every year. All right, so I hope y'all have your gingerbread houses ready. So we're gonna do our gingerbread house kits. I know that some of you weren't able to get a box, so hopefully if you are watching today, you'll find out how to make one, and maybe you and your adults can figure out something similar to make at home for this holiday season later on. So one other thing. So gingerbread houses sometimes fall apart. So if your gingerbread house doesn't turn out the way you want it to, or it falls apart, just add a dinosaur or a dragon and it will look really cool still. All right. So let's get started with our gingerbread house. So I'm going to stop sharing that. So in your kit, you should have frosting, cookies, and 2 packs of candy. So our first step, so I'm going to put this down so you can see this a little better, is to take that frosting and smush it. So this is kind of a fun part. It feels like clay or kind of like a squishy slime. So just smush it until it feels like it's easy, softened. Because what we want to do is, like, before you we want like the heat from our hands to soften it up.
We already smushed it. We already cut it.
That's
So
fine. So people are going at different speeds. So don't worry if you've already gotten started. All right. So mine is nice and smushed. So I'm going to set that aside. Actually, I have my frosting ready, and I'm going to take out the cookies. All right, go ahead and get those cookies open. And you'll see that instead of 6 pieces, we have 2 big cookies. So what we want to do is break these apart into 3 pieces. So you see here, there's that line where you can break it. So we're going to break it here, and we're going to break it here. All right, so you want to be very careful with this step. All right, so we will break our cookies. So gingerbread houses have actually been around for a really long time. They found gingerbread houses in ancient Greece and ancient Egypt. So people have been making gingerbread houses for thousands of years. But the gingerbread house as we know it, like what we're making today, that didn't become popular until I think the 16th century. So that's still a few hundred years ago in Germany. And it became popular after the Brothers Grimm story, Hansel and Gretel. Do y'all know Hansel and Gretel? Have you heard that story about the 2 kids lost in the woods and they find a gingerbread house? It's kind of a creepy story because there's a witch, but for some reason, people really love the gingerbread houses, and they became very popular in Germany after Hansel and Gretel. So now I've got my cookies all broken apart, and I'm going to get my frosting, and I'm going to cut the corner off. So you'll see with the frosting, there's one side here that looks a little bit different than the other 4 corners. That gives us a little bit of a nozzle. So I'm going to cut the corner off here, like that. And we're going to start putting the gingerbread house pieces together. So these 2 pieces, the ones with wavy lines, are the roof. So I'm setting these ones aside for now. I am going to be using these pieces and the sides of the house pieces. So with the house piece, with the front door and the windows on it, I'm going to take the frosting, and I am going to squeeze that frosting out. Oh, that wasn't, my hole there isn't big enough, so I'm going to cut this again. I'm going to squeeze that frosting out and make a line on the cookie on the edge here. And, you know, you might have to use your finger a little bit, get that lay flat. This nozzle isn't the easiest one to use, so don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. you know, there's some people who make gingerbread houses and they're like professional bakers, so they have all the good tools. I am not one of those people. So
What piece are you using?
sorry, once again,
What piece are you using?
I'm using this piece.
Okay.
Yes, so do that. And then after we get our frosting on this piece with the two lines, the two lines look like that. We are going to take these side pieces with the one with the window on it and stick it to the front of the house piece with the frosting like that. All right, then we're going to take this piece again and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put two frosting lines on this. All right, I love how the frosting and the cookies smell. Frosting has a really nice kind of like light vanilla scent to it. Let's see. Go ahead and do the lines again. So when I was looking into gingerbread houses, I found out that there's actually a gingerbread house restaurant in Arizona that you can go to.
Hi, someone's saying in the chat, wait for me. But we're all going along at our own speed, aren't we?
Yeah,
And
so
that's fine.
don't worry if you're going a little slower. I'll go over this again really quick. Not really quick. I will go over this again. So what we have done so far is taken this cookie, placed two lines of frosting on the cookie, and then we've put the window parts, placed those cookies onto the two lines of frosting. So now we are with this second triangular cookie. I'm doing two lines of frosting on this one too. So go ahead and place the frosting on the cookies. And if I am going a little too fast, and you need some extra help, on the back of the gingerbread house kits, there are directions too. So if I go too fast, you can also check out the directions on the back of the kit. All right. Ooh, kicked over my recycling. So that was the crash that you just heard. So I'm going to take this piece that I've put two more stripes of frosting on, and I am going to place that on top of these two cookies and kind of press that down. Right, so you should have a kind of the structure of the house here. All right, so do we have any questions? How are y'all doing out there?
No questions at this time.
No questions?
Good.
You're doing good? Okay, good. I'm happy to hear it. So Annika, how are you doing? I see someone said wait for me.
I'm good. I'm putting the frosting on.
Okay, great. All right. So we've built our first part of the house. So now we are going to put on the roof of the house. Right? And before I put on the roof, let me show you. I meant to show you this at the beginning, but I made this gingerbread house yesterday. So this is from the same kit. So this is what we'll have a finished product that's somewhat similar to that. But everyone's gonna have their own like really cool gingerbread house because you're all your own artists. So, but now we're gonna put on the roof. So we are gonna take this and we are going to line the top of the house, the two triangle parts, with some frosting. So, and you might need to use your fingers here because the frosting doesn't really like to stick there with the line. Okay.
Candace is saying, so cool, Miss Lizelle.
Thank you. A lot of fun to do. Hope you all are having fun out there building your own gingerbread houses too. So, yeah, so what I was saying, there's this place, a restaurant in Arizona, where the restaurant itself is a gingerbread house. So you can go in a gingerbread house and like actually walk in it and get a restaurant meal. But it's like, I don't know what they serve. I would hope that they give you gingerbread for dessert. There's also like a giant gingerbread house, but I'm not going to tell you any more about that because it's in my trivia later. But there's this giant gingerbread house that you can actually walk in. It can be pretty fun. Right. So if you get the frosting on the house, you're going to take the roof cookies and place the roof cookies onto the top of the house, like so. So I'm having the broken end face the inside of the house, or face the other cookie. So the two broken parts are facing each other. Right, so just press that down. And you are gonna have the structure of your gingerbread house. So after you get this done, you're gonna be ready to decorate it. So before we get into the decorating, I am also just gonna put some frosting along the top of the roof. That'll help it stick. So I'm just doing a line of frosting across there. Okay, and that is the basic gingerbread house. Do we have any questions so far? Yeah.
No questions in the chat yet.
Awesome. All right, so now we're gonna have a lot of fun. You can take the candies and open those up, and we are gonna decorate this gingerbread house.
the hills of snow.
So I am only going to decorate 3 sides of this right now.
I have a little
So
dreidel.
because you can't, the back, you can't really see it. I'm going to finish that later on. Do some more decorating, but for now, this is my finished little house. So
That, Lizelle, your house is looking wonderful. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show off.
thank you for being patient.